First, let me thank the Sarthak Educational Trust and the National Olympic Association for this important conference and inviting me. Empowering Lives is such an important theme today. Let me start with a confession. To be honest, I've been working more than 30 years, but the first 10 years of my career, I was very limited engaged in issues with people with disabilities. And it was not part of the Millennium Development Goals, and therefore we were ignorant. I was ignorant. And then my career in the United Nations and UNICEF took me to Zimbabwe in Africa. And I was there the UNICEF deputy representative, and one day the Mugabe government decided to demolish informal settlements, and within a period of a few weeks, more than 700,000 people lost their housing. They were displaced. There were no NGOs who were allowed to do something, and as a UNICEF officer, I was working on safe water, sanitation, nutrition, healthcare. We were working day, nights, and evening. But then the fourth evening, I came in late in my office, and my secretary said, "This lady has been sitting in front of your door for the last 8 hours. You need to talk to her." I said, "No, I want to go home." She said, "No, talk to her." So I did. And I said, "What's the problem? Did you lose your house?" And she said, "Yes, but much more important, I lost my network." I said, "What do you mean you lost my network?" And she said, "Well, actually, I'm the chairwoman of the mothers of children living with disabilities, and nobody's taking care of us. We were, even before this crisis, nobody was caring for us, so we were caring for each other. But because we're all displaced, we used to live next to each other, and I lost my friends, my support group. And I realized that, oh, I'm really not focusing on the real issues for these people." And of course, we provided a safe space for her and for her peers. But there was, for me, a realization that as UNICEF, we needed to much more systematically focus on these priority issues. And one of the first steps was, of course, engaging with the government on national policies. That's not enough. In the meantime, I was, in my UN career, moved to another country, and they moved me to Georgia in Eastern Europe. And as you know, Georgia is a former Soviet Union state. So there, the issue specifically for children with disabilities was that they were living in large institutions, cold, unhappy places. And the focus of my work there was closing these large institutions and finding alternative care, organizing home care for these children where they would have meaningful activities. We succeeded, and to be honest, I'm proud to say that over 95% of these institutions are closed today because of the efforts by a lot of people, including the government itself. And again, I moved to another country. I went to Sierra Leone as a UNICEF representative. And as you know, Sierra Leone, of course, had, due to the Civil War, many people with physical disabilities. And the focus of our work was inclusive education, trying to make sure that the children were going to school. And again, we were reasonably successful, but I was struggling with the idea, are we really giving these children and their families something meaningful they can take control of their own lives? And the answer was no. I had to look in the mirror. And UNICEF asked me to go to another country, another promotion, and I basically said, no. I need to come up with something meaningful. And I started to investigate because I didn't get the answers with UNICEF, I didn't get them with the World Bank, and I found an organization called Aflatoun. And Aflatoun focusing on empowering children and young people with social and financial skills. Actually, it's an Indian concept. It's developed in Mumbai many years ago. But it really builds the self-confidence, the positive self-esteem, learning children and the families know their rights and create self-reliance by focusing on saving, spending, understanding to make a plan for your life. And at Aflatoun, we developed an inclusive tool, so that it was not only for children with disabilities or other children, but a tool where all children together could learn these skills. And together with a very active learning methodology, seeing miracles happening as we speak. We are seeing blind children in Egypt and Ethiopia. They're claiming their rights. They are starting small businesses. We see deaf children in Zimbabwe having schools, poultry farms, and their peers are suddenly much more engaged because they see these youngsters creating businesses and they are interested in children, their children with disabilities. We're having children with autism syndrome in Guatemala joining clubs, and for the first time they're interacting with other children. So I can continue with examples, but what we're seeing is that we need to empower these children with skills to build the self-confidence, to claim their rights, and then help them to use that self-confidence to build their own future of themselves and their families.